A northern Florida private investigator disappears without a trace, almost like she vanishes into thin air. That is until a crime scene investigator becomes the #1 suspect. This week on Two Crime Newsies, we turn the tables on that crime scene investigator and look at her under the microscope. Hi everyone, I'm Jen. Thanks for being with us for another week of Two Crime Newsies.
And I'm Tina with a full cup of coffee. And we talked about this, Jen. Enough caffeine to record 2 episodes in a row.
Tina's all like bouncing off the walls today.
We're only recording one today, and I don't know what to do with all of my energy.
You're bummed we're not doing more?
I really am. I could sit here for at least a couple of hours.
I like it.
And just chat it up.
I love spending that much time with you. I really do. Fun little factoid before we get started in the episode. Today when I got to Tina's house, I knocked on the door and Tina opened up the door and she has her hand out to her dog so her dog doesn't run out. And then she lifts her hand up and holds it as a stop sign to me. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm waiting to.
Yours was supposed to be a go. So I was supposed to be doing this to you.
Like a waving me to come in?
Like a waving you to come in and then a stop to her. Maybe my brain doesn't work like that. You know?
But then all of a sudden I was just like, okay, I'll wait here. And Tina's gives me this little come on wave. And I'm like, okay, it's safe for me to go now.
We're training my dog not to jump on people when they arrive because it's rude.
I just thought that was very cute. I was like, okay.
Next time, this is how it goes, Jen. Open the door for Jen. Jen walks in. I make dog stay.
I like it being assertive.
All right. We'll try it, see if it works. Okay. Where are we at? Oh, yes. Are we ready to talk about this?
Do you want to get into it?
No, I want to chat more. Okay, but we will.
It's a serious episode. So I like our heist episodes. I like our maple syrup episode, Pappygate. I like the Pink Panther episode, despite that one being a little more serious. No, let me rephrase that. All crime is serious.
Yes, ma'am.
Crime is not a laughing matter.
No, do not do as we do.
We don't do crime, Tina. That makes us sound like we do commit crimes.
We don't do crime. We talk about crime. Sometimes we laugh.
Yeah.
About heisties and things. Because it's funny.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's funny that people do this stuff and they think they're not going to get caught. Although they haven't sometimes.
I just have this picture of the barrels in the maple syrup episode stuck in my head with the crime scene photos, and Tina could not control herself when she was thinking of that quote crime scene photo.
That's the best. And if you haven't gone to watch that maple syrup episode, you're missing out. I'm talking about not our podcast episode, the actual documentary about this heist.
Dirty money.
You're missing out.
Okay, so are you ready to get into this week's episode?
Yes, I am. But before we dive in, I'm going to give a listener warning. Jen usually does this, but she made me do it today.
Switching it up a little bit.
This episode is not for younger ears. We do talk about some disturbing stuff. Overall, though, Jen, I say if you're a regular viewer of true crime documentaries, I think this is actually an interesting one to watch, and there is minimal disturbing footage, wouldn't you say?
There is. So we do see a skull, we do see some bones, that kind of thing, but it's not the bloody, gory ones that we see.
Right. So for someone who's pretty sensitive to that sort of thing, I think it was still an easier one to watch and such an interesting story.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I found it. I wanted to mention that we were tipped off to this case by a listener named Maddie. She's from Pensacola and told us we should look into it. So thank you so much for reaching out, Maddie.
Maddie, great story. Mm-hmm. Thank you for telling us about it.
This week we're talking about a prime crime show on Peacock. Again, prime crime makes me think of Amazon Prime. We've covered one of these before, and I was like, prime crime, Amazon Prime.
Do you really like Amazon Prime?
Oh, yeah. Add to cart.
I only use it for Christmas, really.
You're kidding me.
I think there's one other thing that I order regularly on there, just one that I can think of off the top of my head. Everything else is normally Christmas.
I'm looking at Tina with whoa.
I don't know.
Really? Like no clothes, no household stuff?
I don't like to order clothes online. I am a
mall walker.
No, I'm not necessarily a mall walker. I do get that going to malls and stuff is kind of a pain too. I like to feel the clothes. I like to feel what they feel like, in person and how they're going to feel on my skin. I don't like itchy material. And I've been really into, you're going to laugh at me. I've been really into cotton clothes lately. We live in a hot environment and I would like some breathable clothing. Cotton clothes are breathable clothing.
Okay.
So I prefer to look at the label. I have ordered things from online before that say they're 100% cotton and you get them in and the label is 50% cotton and 50% something else.
Tina, I love you, but you sound very old right now.
Do only old people order 100% cotton clothing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you and I have ever shopped together, and I think there might be a reason for that. Like, I go in the store and I'm out of the store. I'm on a mission. I don't have time to, lollygag around.
I don't like to lollygag, but I'm also just not going to buy anything.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this week we're talking about a prime crime show on
yes. We're talking about Prime Crime, not Amazon Prime.
You may remember we covered another Prime Crime episode a little while back when we talked about the case of Lauren Giddings. Lauren was this beautiful law school graduate living in an off-campus apartment near Mercer University in Georgia. She was studying for the bar exam, but was savagely murdered by her next-door neighbor. If you haven't already done so, go back and listen to that episode. The way that Lauren's family, her friends, and even Mercer University are remembering her is truly amazing. Back to this week's episode now.
Back again.
This week, as I mentioned, Prime Crime, Season 1, Episode 8, and it's called CSI Investigated.
I do like the name of that.
It's good. The title instantly caught my attention as I was scrolling through the show menu because I used to love the show CSI. I was a huge fan of the original CSI back in the early 2000s, where a team of investigators in Las Vegas, headed by Gil Grissom, investigated and helped solve crimes. The show really put crime scene investigation jobs in the forefront of our society because I, like most people way back then, had never even heard of crime scene investigators. And I didn't really know what they did on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so this week's episode, CSI Investigated. Let's dive in. It's a case about a missing woman who's a private investigator who disappeared without a trace. The show opens with police interrogation video of a woman sitting down in a chair and she's wearing black knee-length shorts, like a Bermuda short type of outfit, and a grapefruit-colored Nike polo shirt. She's got her hair slicked back and she's wearing blue tennis shoes. When I saw her, I instantly thought this lady looked like they had picked her up while she was playing a round of golf. Don't you think?
I see that immediately, yes.
Her name is Cassandra Waller, and she tells the investigator Taylor seemed like she was getting paranoid towards Friday.
After a montage of clips to reel us into the story,
they hook us.
We get to the host of the show, Jesse Weber. And he tells us Prime Crime is about taking a deeper dive into some of the most memorable cases. And this one we're about to watch focuses on figuring out what happened to a missing woman and finding out who, if anyone, is responsible.
The story begins on September 8th, 2017 in Pensacola Beach, Florida.
I love Pensacola.
We hear that on September 8th, 2017, 33-year-old Taylor Wright went missing. This is where we see Cassandra Waller again and learn that she is Taylor's girlfriend. She said she was texting Taylor and didn't get a response. And that was unlike her because the two would stay in touch throughout the day. They lived together, and we also learned that Taylor is a mom. She has a son from a previous relationship. We also learned that Taylor was a private investigator. You know the type. You see video of them on shows hiding in the bushes, taking pictures of unsuspecting targets that they've been hired to keep an eye on.
Lisa Lockwood is a crime analyst, and she's on the screen now, and she says private investigators are skilled at not being seen.
You and I would not be good at those jobs.
No.
We'd get caught instantly.
Yeah. So Lockwood says it would be easy for Taylor to disappear. And I don't know what to think about this. I'm sure that private investigators are used to figuring out how to blend in and not be spotted, but to make themselves disappear? I can't imagine to disappear would be easy.
I don't think it would be either. There has to be some planning that goes into it, you know?
Heavy planning, especially if you have a child.
Police at this point start looking into those people who are closest to Taylor, including Cassandra, her girlfriend. Cassandra tells investigators that Taylor had cheated on her. This is also when we see Taylor's friend Ashley MacArthur being interviewed by police. She tells them in the interrogation video we see she doesn't think that Cassandra would ever hurt Taylor. She also mentions something very interesting to police during that interview, and it's about Taylor's ex-husband, Jeffrey.
Ashley tells investigators that she was told that Jeff was the aggressive one in the relationship between Taylor and Jeff. And she also mentions Taylor was trying to hide money from Jeff.
We learned that Jeffrey, also known as Jeff, and Taylor were in the middle of a custody battle over their son. Taylor's friend tells police that Taylor was just trying to get her life together. She had her son, she was trying to get back on her feet after their relationship didn't work out, and that she was trying to recoup the money that Jeff had taken from her. Tina, tell me about this whole money thing, because to me, a custody battle and also money issues sound a lot like a possible motive.
We learned that Ashley told investigators that Taylor took money from a bank account she shared with Jeff and gave that money to Ashley to hold for her as a way to hide it from Jeff. Lisa Lockwood, the crime analyst, is back, and she confirms there was money taken from the account that Taylor shared with Jeff, and that there was a cashier's check that was given to Ashley and deposited into Ashley's account.
At this point, police dig deeper in Cassandra and then also into her ex, Jeff, and later determined that neither had anything to do with Taylor's disappearance. So at that point, it seems like back to square one.
Right.
So investigators dig a little deeper. And who else would want to hurt Taylor? This is when Cassandra, Taylor's girlfriend, is back on the screen, and we see the video play of her in the police interview room where she says that Taylor was starting to act a little paranoid. She goes on to say that Taylor was talking about how she felt like something just wasn't right with Ashley. And Ashley, remember, is her friend, the one who was storing that money for her.
Jesse Weber, the narrator, tells us there are 3 interesting things about Ashley MacArthur.
Let's hear it.
First, he says Taylor wanted her money back from Ashley. And we see video of Cassandra telling investigators that Taylor had been trying for days to get her money back from Ashley, but Ashley kept coming up with excuses not to give it to her.
Red flag.
The second interesting point here, Jesse Weber says that the day Taylor disappeared was the day she went to the bank to try to get her money. And we see video of Cassandra telling investigators that Taylor told her she was going to the bank with Ashley.
Oh, that's weird.
So it seemed Ashley had finally gave in and was willing to give the money back to Taylor. And the third interesting point about Ashley, Jen.
I think this one's the most crucial point.
She's a crime scene technician. That's her job. And we learn she was the last person to see Taylor before she disappeared.
Red flag.
Huge red flag.
Tina, she's a crime scene technician and she was the last person to see her. If that doesn't make the little hairs on the back of your neck stand up, I don't know what will. Tina, a crime scene technician, as I learned on the CSI show way back in the day, knows how to make someone disappear. I mean, they work crime scenes every single day.
Right. I know the crime analyst earlier said private investigators have special skills to make themselves disappear, but I agree with you, Jen. I think a crime scene technician is much more skilled in that area.
They know about DNA. They know about all of the things.
They know what other investigators are looking for when searching a crime scene.
Ashley, we hear, tells investigators that she doesn't know who harmed Taylor and that she doesn't think, in fact, that Taylor was harmed. I thought that was an interesting statement.
She made it sound like this was something that has happened before or is typical behavior.
She tells investigators that she thinks Taylor is doing what Taylor does. And this made me question what she was talking about. Did she mean that Taylor liked the attention on herself? It's something we don't know. Police, however, thought her behavior in the interview was odd.
Trial attorney Catherine Smith is on screen now, and she says Ashley's behavior in the interrogation room raised some eyebrows. Specifically, she says, her behavior didn't seem like she had empathy for her missing friend Taylor.
She should be crying. She should be upset. Tina, if you went missing, I'd be leading that search party.
Yeah, I think it would be really upsetting.
Yeah.
If one of your closest friends went missing.
I mean, Tina, if I went missing, what would you do? You would have no entertainment.
I'd be devastated, Jen.
I'd hope so. As she laughs.
I would no longer laugh. Who would laugh with me?
Who would you give the hand to, make them pause at the door, wait for my command to come in the door?
No one would ever come visit me again? Let's not talk about this. It's awful. Okay, the show cuts to Ashley in the interrogation here, saying, "This is a pain in the ass for me." That's what she said.
Not Tina.
No.
Ashley.
And she said, "Because now I'm stuck with all of her stuff at my office."
What a jerk.
What a weird thing to say.
You and I have totally different. I'm like, what a piece of work. And you're like, that's just odd to say.
Well, I agree. Piece of work. I do agree about that. But just really,
Your friend is
weird
missing.
Thing to say. You have to think the investigator is just looking at this lady, trying to figure out what's wrong with her.
Your friend is gone. We don't know where she is.
And you're upset because her stuff is in your office? And you don't know what to do with it?
Get out of here, Ashley.
What? Just so odd. Ashley then retells what she calls a sob story about how Jeff took money from Taylor and Taylor gave money to Ashley to try to hide it from Jeff in a shady way, Ashley says. And then Ashley says, "Who does that?" And to that I say, Ashley, if you think it's shady, why did you take the money? Who does that? I'm really irked.
You're absolutely right, though. If it was such an issue, if it's such a moral dilemma for you, why'd you take it in the first place?
Right. Miss Moral Superiority.
It looked to me like she was just having a casual conversation with the police officers. Did you notice that?
Yes, she looked very comfortable in there.
Very nonchalant. And we see her giggling, and she's just super chill about the whole situation. Granted, everyone acts differently in situations, and everyone handles things in their own way. Truthfully, me laughing uncontrollably when I get uncomfortable.
She does. The time that I fell flat on my face on concrete right in front of Jen in New Orleans, and instead of helping me up, she laughed.
I couldn't control it.
And laughed so much, in fact, that she was too weak to lend out a helping hand. If I'd have taken that hand, you would have fallen right over. You were laughing so much.
Our other friend M helped you up, though.
Thank you, M.
I'll never live that down.
Nope.
Oh, I still love you, though.
Thank you.
Back to it. I think if Taylor was really that good of a friend to her, then I would have assumed that she would at least seem kind of upset that her friend was missing.
A little. Can we show a little bit of upsetness about your missing friend? There's 0.
She's giggling in the police interview. Like, who does that?
This is so upsetting to watch.
It just seems super suspicious to me. We also learned that Ashley was putting Taylor's character as a human being down in the police interview.
Oh yeah, if it's not enough to just be giggling about your friend missing, now she's just talking bad about her.
Mm-hmm. Police also noticed something that Ashley is saying during the interview that was also not really making much sense to them. She's constantly talking about Taylor in past tense. Red flag. Ashley says, I don't know who she was until a lot of this because what I knew her to be was one thing. And now what I'm finding out is something totally different. She was using the word was, past tense.
That is such a telling sign.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe someone is alive and well, you don't refer to them in the past tense. And her behavior, as we've talked about in the interrogation room, seems to give the impression that she doesn't think there's anything wrong with Taylor, that she's just fine somewhere.
Taylor's just doing Taylor things. Mm-hmm. Remember, that's what she said.
She seems to give the impression that Taylor has disappeared on her own. So if she really believes this, why is she referring to Taylor in the past tense?
In the world of crime, it's often the smallest details that cost people the most. The things they didn't see coming. And when it comes to your home and auto insurance, overpaying every month without realizing it, that's a costly mistake.
That's where Quentin Brown with Shamrock Insurance comes in. Instead of locking you into one option, Quentin shops over 25 top-rated insurance carriers to find you the best coverage at the best price, so you're not left paying more than you should.
Whether you're a homeowner, driver, business owner, or even a truck driver, Shamrock Insurance has you covered.
No surprises, no wasted money, just smart protection tailored to you. So before your next bill hits like a bad plot twist, make the smart move.
Call Quentin Brown with Shamrock Insurance today at 512-337-2482 and let him shop for you. Because saving money should not be a mystery.
If you missed that number, it's 512-337-2482. We'll include it in the show notes. Don't wait. Give them a call today.
Police also bring in Ashley's former boyfriend, Brandon Betty, and he offers investigators quite a look into Ashley's character. Listen to this. Investigators ask him how well he trusts Ashley, and Brandon Beatty says, I don't trust her at all.
Okay, well, I will point out that he's her ex-boyfriend.
Still, though.
And I wouldn't trust any of my exes either. That's why they're exes.
What's that song? X's and O's that haunt me.
Also, I want to point out a question that the officer asks Brandon in the interrogation room. He asks if Brandon would trust Ashley with his freedom. Jen, what does that even mean?
That's strange.
Would you trust her with your freedom?
Would I trust Tina with my freedom?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I thought that was a weird... Maybe we just don't have context on what he was talking about there. In response to that question, Brandon says, no way. He's caught her in too many lies, he said.
This is when we see an interrogation clip of Ashley, and she's telling investigators that Taylor is always carrying weapons, whether it's knives or guns, and how Taylor isn't an easy target. We saw this clip right after coming out of a commercial break on the show, and it was quite the whoa. But then I also reminded myself that this happened in Florida, where, and I'm not judging Florida here because I love me some Florida. I mean, Disney World, the Keys, both of those things are my jam. But in Florida, I feel like you often hear about people carrying weapons around with them, and it's not an out of the ordinary thing, right?
I mean, I've been in Florida, and I've never noticed people just walking around with weapons.
Samurai sword?
No. No. I mean, if it was your job to carry around a weapon, I'm sure you would put it somewhere where it's just not easily...
That's true. She's a private investigator. Like, she has to defend herself.
Right. So, sure, she might be carrying around weapons as part of her job. I'm sure she's not flaunting them all, you know? There's not a samurai sword sticking out of her pocket.
It's just an odd thing to say.
It really is.
Like, again.
This whole lady is odd.
It's very strange. Then I also reminded myself that Taylor is in fact an investigator. It would be normal for her to be carrying around weapons, as I just said, as part of her job.
Yes.
Because there might be people out there that threaten her.
Mm-hmm. Now we get the story from Ashley on what happened the day Taylor went missing.
Let's hear it, Ashley.
And remember, Ashley was the last person to see Taylor that day.
The day she went missing.
Yes. Ashley says everything was fine that day. Taylor told her she was going to get an Uber to grab a beer somewhere. Ashley also says that she gave Taylor her money back and Taylor took it in a duffel bag. And Jen, I just have to point out that I wouldn't be carrying around a duffel bag full of cash, calling an Uber, and then going to get a beer with all that money on.
It doesn't sound good.
Too suspicious.
Also, who grabs, like, if you go to a bar, don't you think it'd be suspect if somebody's walking around with a duffel bag?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like, buddy, what's in your duffel bag?
Also, why are you going to the bar by yourself? Wouldn't you invite your friend? I wouldn't say, hey, Jen, I'm going to go grab an Uber and get a beer. I'd say, Jen, let's go grab an Uber and get a beer.
Yeah, with
Right?
my duffel bag of cash.
Well, hopefully you would drop that off on the way. But
It's a very odd thing.
yeah, it sounds weird.
I feel like Ashley is putting, like, she's trying to put 1 and 7 together to make 3.
Right. So
Does that make sense?
No, obviously. So they go to the bank. She gives Taylor the money. Taylor puts it in the duffel bag. And then Taylor says, see ya, friend. I'm going to go grab a beer. No.
No, that doesn't work out. Also, what would the bank teller say?
And why wouldn't Ashley just drop her say Ashley didn't want to get a beer? Why didn't Ashley just give her a ride to wherever she was going to get a beer? Why did she have to get an Uber? There's too many questions.
Not a good story you're building here, Ashley.
No.
This is when we hear from Ashley's ex-boyfriend, Brandon, again. And he tells police that he believes there's more to the story. And Tina, I agree with this man. There's more to this story that we are not being told.
I know, and I want to know it.
Samesies. Brandon tells police that Ashley told him point blank, and I'm going to quote here, they are not going to find her. She took that money and left. Brandon says that didn't make any sense to him and that Taylor would never leave her kid.
That's an excellent point he makes, Jen. Why would Taylor leave her child behind when she's in the middle of a custody battle? She's been fighting for custody of her child, and then she's going to suddenly leave him? I don't think so.
Not happening. I don't think so either. This is when police ask Ashley if they can take a look at her phone, meaning they're going to forensically examine her phone.
Dun dun.
Dun dun. Even if she deleted something off that phone, they would be able to restore it and look at it. And the strangest thing happens here. Ashley starts laughing when they're telling her they're not going to be looking at anything to make her embarrassed. They just want to examine her phone for anything suspicious. And Ashley tells them, sure, and she doesn't mind and hands over the phone.
We hear from Bridget Jensen, the assistant state attorney now, and she says Ashley's first interrogation was, quote, annoying.
It annoyed me too.
I absolutely agree. And she elaborates that her behavior, as we talked about, was giddy, giggly, and even, Jen, she says, flirtatious with the officers in the room.
Meanwhile, her friend is missing.
Gross. She also goes on to say that the second interrogation with Ashley was completely different. And we see this on the screen.
There was a big shift.
She was toned down. She was somber. And Jensen says it's probably because she knew she was in hot water this time. And she does look absolutely serious in this second interview. It's a huge difference from her first interview with officers.
Investigators tell Ashley in that second interview that they've uncovered some things. They found out that Ashley had deposited $34,000 of Taylor's money into her own bank account. Even Ashley's ex-boyfriend tells police that Ashley spends money on everyone around her.
Bridget Jensen, the assistant state attorney, says she thinks Ashley killed Taylor because when Taylor asked for her money back, Ashley didn't have it. She spent it. And when officers question Ashley during the second interrogation about where the money went, Ashley says she used it because it was payment for the money she was giving Taylor. Let me see if I'm getting this correct, Jen. It sounds like she's saying she had been giving Taylor the money in payments?
It's what it sounded like, which makes no sense.
Right. Officers also asked Ashley to again go through what happened the day Taylor disappeared. She tells officers that after giving Taylor her money, Ashley went to her family farm to ride horses, then went back home, and that's when Taylor left. And she says it's also the last time she saw Taylor. So that's her story here.
Police, however, learned something different. We hear they plotted, meaning they built a timeline using cell phone records of calls between Ashley and Taylor the day of Taylor's disappearance to find some loopholes in Ashley's story. We hear that phone records indicate that the day after Taylor disappeared, Taylor's phone pinged off of a tower near a wedding in Alabama. Why is this significant, you may be wondering? Ashley was the one attending that wedding. Why would Taylor's phone be in Alabama at a wedding that Ashley was at the day after Ashley allegedly last saw Taylor? Tina, I love cell phone tower evidence. You know this about me.
It's a fascinating tool, and I forget that it exists because we carry our phones everywhere with us. I feel lost if I leave the house without my phone. Cell phones have become as important as our wallets and our house keys. It's just something you don't leave home without. So it's a huge red flag that Taylor's phone was in another state at the same location that Ashley was at when Taylor was supposed to be missing. Trial attorney Catherine Smith says the cell phone data is important, but that it's also important to remember that cell phone records are not a smoking gun. Meaning they can signal red flags, but they are not absolute proof. Okay.
I can get that.
Catherine goes on to say that records do show something else interesting. They show that someone was texting from Taylor's phone from the same location Ashley was at when Taylor was missing. So Taylor's phone was with Ashley, or in the same location, and someone was texting from Taylor's phone.
In Alabama, at a wedding.
Right.
That Ashley was at.
Yes.
That Taylor would probably not be at.
Now that, I would say, is more of a smoking gun.
This is when we get into the nitty gritty. Taylor's girlfriend, Cassandra, you remember the one from in the golf outfit from the beginning, tells police that at 7:58 p.m. on the day of Taylor's disappearance, she received a text from Taylor stating, "I'll call you later. I'm not angry with you and I should have called, but I just needed to think. I am trying to get my life organized and on track." Cassandra says then at 11:54 p.m., Ashley texted her screenshots of what Taylor had apparently sent her. We see the message on the screen and it says, "I'm okay, I'm not doing anything bad. I'm just stressed out with the move in court and I need a few days to myself. I'm not doing anything bad."
Crime analyst Lisa Lockwood chimes in here and says this is not something out of the ordinary. In fact, she says it's common practice for someone who murdered someone to pretend to be that person by texting family members, so it looks like they're still alive.
We saw this a lot on the Abe episode, the man who won the lottery in Florida, and the woman was texting his family pretending that he was alive for months and months and months.
Yep, absolutely. But apparently, people who do this forget about cell phone tower data that can raise red flags.
I'm glad they forget.
Me too. Also, when you do something like this, you risk the red flags by using words and a tone in the text that the other person would never use, which is also what happened in this case.
The cell phone records also indicate we hear that Ashley was not in Milton, Florida, when she had told investigators she went to the town of Milton. The officer then asked Ashley what both she and Taylor were doing out at that farm because police know they had just been there. Ashley tells them that she and Taylor had picked up a lockbox that Taylor had stored at the farm, and this is when we see a picture on the screen of the farm, and in the background there's a heavily wooded area. And that's where we see a police officer standing in front of some yellow crime scene tape. Here we see police video of two officers with Ashley in the interrogation room, and they're asking her, "Where is Taylor at?" Remember, Ashley is a crime scene investigator. She knows how to hide and even get rid of a body. And that's when we hear police are searching Ashley's family's farm at the very minute they're talking to her.
Right, because she changed her story. At first, she said that Taylor was going to grab an Uber and go to the bar.
With a duffel bag.
With a duffel bag. And now she's saying she actually took Taylor to the family farm. But that she didn't tell police about it at first, she said, because Taylor didn't want her to tell anybody about that.
Apparently it slipped her mind.
I can't with this lady.
Nope. And that search at the farm turned up something grisly. We see a picture on the show of what looks like bones and even a skull buried in a shallow grave in that wooded area I just mentioned. It also looks like there's a tarp covering the body, and we learn that Taylor had been shot in the head.
We also learn that Ashley MacArthur was arrested and charged with first-degree premeditated murder. And we see the mugshot on the screen. And what a difference from the first time we saw Ashley on the screen. In the mugshot, she has a stone-cold look in her eyes. And her smile and giggles are replaced by a slight frown.
She looked scary.
She did. Bridget Jensen, the assistant state attorney, is back to give us a rundown of what she thinks happened the day Taylor disappeared. I like this.
Let's hear it.
She says on September 8th, 2017, Ashley picked up Taylor to supposedly take her to the bank to get Taylor's money. However, she doesn't think they ever made it to the bank. Instead, she thinks Ashley came up with a reason to have to detour to her family's property. And Jensen describes the property as a huge piece of land out in the middle of nowhere. And it's there that she says Ashley shot Taylor in the back of her head.
We hear no DNA or a murder weapon was linked to Ashley, and that makes the prosecutor's job tougher. We also learn that the actual day and time of Taylor's death could not be determined. But remember, Ashley is a crime scene investigator. She has the tools of knowing what police will be looking for, and she also knows how to hide those things. This is when we hear about the Home Depot footage. Remember how I mentioned Taylor had a black tarp over her body when police found her? Well, on top of that tarp, there was potting soil and concrete chunks.
There's always some sort of Home Depot or Walmart run.
We see it time and time again on these crime scene shows.
How do they not realize that there are cameras at the store recording what they're buying?
I know.
And we see it. The video of Ashley and Home Depot buying these items the day after Taylor disappeared. John Barrowset, Ashley's attorney, is on screen right now, and he says this Home Depot run was completely innocent.
Had nothing to do with it at all.
He claims there was work being done at the house, and I'm not sure if he means Ashley's home or the family house at the property, but he says those Home Depot items were for things like yard work, a new deck, and some basement work. He also claims that the prosecutors didn't do any testing to verify if items like the potting soil found where Taylor was buried matched the potting soil that Ashley bought at Home Depot.
I would also ask her directly, like, hey, what'd you do with all this potting soil?
Right, where'd it go?
Where'd it go?
If it's not here, if this isn't it,
where's it at?
Where is it? That's such a simple question.
Did you go plant some shrubs down by the beach?
Just show
what'd you
us.
do? Yeah. Come on,
Ashley. We should be interrogators.
I feel like we would give a very interesting interrogation. Definitely no polygraph though, because those make me nervous. But
you wouldn't be taking it; you would be giving it.
Ooh, like shoving little needles and.
No, you don't needle a person.
What do you do?
I don't know. I think it's a little thing that goes on your arm, like a rubber thing.
Electrodes type thing.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Hey, maybe I should.
Can you imagine the nerves if someone stuck a needle in you to do a polygraph test and then made you answer questions? Jen, that would be horrendous. Come on now.
The needles are on the screen. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh.
This is why you and I could never be investigators, too.
Yeah, take it back.
So, Ashley's trial started in 2019, and prosecutors said that the motive for Taylor's death was money. The state argued that Ashley spent Taylor's money, and when confronted about getting the money back, Ashley killed Taylor.
Jen, what in the world did she spend the money on? There was no mention of any high-value items that Ashley may have purchased with Taylor's money. There's no mention whatsoever of why she would have needed Taylor's money. And this bothers me. I want to know, was she greedy? Was she in over her head in debt? Why in the world would she think it was necessary to kill her friend over this amount of money? She was a crime scene investigator, definitely earning a salary. Even if she did, let's say, accidentally overspend and dipped into Taylor's money, $34,000 can be reasonably paid back. Wouldn't you say?
So. Yeah.
That's what people pay for a car these days.
They pay more than that for a car.
They do. It's not a crippling amount of money. I can't understand why someone would go this far over that amount of money.
The prosecutor we hear on the show tells us that it was a hard case to prosecute because Ashley didn't look like a vicious killer. She had to also piece together a timeline that the jury would be able to understand.
The defense argued there was no evidence linking Ashley to Taylor's murder. We see courtroom video of John Barrowstead, Ashley's attorney, telling the court that the state's case is built on some lies that Ashley told and how she lived her life, which people may not like. But regardless, he says, the state's case isn't built on eyewitness testimony nor physical or scientific evidence.
I have a question. If she had nothing to do with this whatsoever, why would she be in there telling lies?
I agree.
Tell the truth.
Right. If you're completely innocent, why don't you just tell the truth? Why are you lying about anything?
Yeah.
Unless you're a compulsive liar, and then I don't know what to do about that. Crime analyst Lisa Lockwood pops back on the screen and says, murder cases based on circumstantial evidence are the most difficult to prove. She goes on to say it's necessary to provide a series of circumstantial events to tie the case together. And she says in this case, Ashley was the last person to see Taylor alive. Taylor's cell phone was with Ashley after Taylor went missing. Plus, the Home Depot video of Ashley buying potting soil and concrete the day after Taylor went missing. Then, officers catch Ashley in a lie when they find out she had taken Taylor to her family's property when before she told them she went to the property alone. But that's not all. There's more that we learn about Ashley next.
One of Ashley's friends named Audrey Warner took the stand at the trial and said that Ashley had told her the world would be a better place without Taylor. Big red flag, Tina.
What kind of person says this about their friend, Jen?
Agreed. A horrible person.
It really makes me wonder what this friendship dynamic was like. Mm-hmm. How could you be friends with someone this cruel?
Mm-hmm. We hear that the jury deliberated only about 2 hours on August 30th, 2019, and ended up coming back with a guilty of first-degree murder verdict. The prosecutor in the case said everyone was relieved when the jury made this decision. Ashley was sentenced to life in prison with a mandatory minimum of 25 years. I, of course, had to do some digging on the case, and according to People magazine online, Ashley appealed her conviction, but her verdict was upheld by the Florida First District Court of Appeal.
Thank goodness.
The article stated that she wanted a new trial on the grounds of prejudice. She apparently claimed that the judge should have declared a mistrial during her original trial after a picture of her holding a shotgun, which was not the murder weapon, was shown to the jury. As for Taylor's son, according to Google AI, and I can't believe I'm referencing Google AI here, I truly can't, but that was the only thing I could find. According to Google AI, Taylor's son is in the custody of his father and Taylor's ex-husband, Jeff. Not only, Tina, was Taylor a victim in all this, but also her son and all of those who knew and loved her. It's a tragic story.
It really is. And Jesse Weber closes the episode with some powerful words here. He says it's scary to think about this case when you consider that it was one of Taylor's closest friends who betrayed her. He goes on to say, as clever and as resourceful as Ashley thought she was in trying to cover up her crime, it was the investigators and the jury who saw right through it. I got chills.
Uh-huh.
I also want to mention there's a longer documentary about this case. It's season 3, episode 5 of Buried in the Backyard, and the episode title is Femme Fatale. Jen, I'm in the middle of watching it now, and what I really like about both of these episodes is the one we covered today tells us the story through police interrogation interviews, which is something I wish more documentaries included. And the Buried in the Backyard episode tells the story in a more traditional true crime documentary format. You learn a little bit more about the area, Pensacola, Florida, and the people involved. And I like that I'm watching this one after I know the story, because now I'm looking to see if this episode can answer some of those questions that I have about this case. And I'm still stunned, Jen, that the murderer was a crime scene investigator.
Someone who's literally hired by police stations to be on the up and up. You know, they're investigating crimes being committed. They should be morally sound people.
Right.
Clearly, Ashley was not morally sound.
Something was wrong with her. I think this is going to be one of those stories I will never forget. And shout out again to Maddie for telling us about this case.
Yes, thank you, Maddie. It was definitely an interesting case. I enjoyed the show because of all the interrogation video. I find that fascinating. I think I really got into the interrogation video when we did the episode also in Florida about the neighbor from hell.
Oh my gosh, that one was bizarre.
A lot of that show was based on police video, body cam video, surveillance video, and I really enjoy it.
It helps give a better picture and understanding of what's going on when you can see people's reactions to these questions. You can see their demeanor, and especially in this one, you can see how Ashley was really two different people from her first interview to her next one. It was a completely different person, a scary person in the second one.
It really was. So thank you again, Maddie, for letting us know. And if you have any suggestions for shows you would like us to cover, please send us an email. We're at twocrimenewsies@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Let us know. Also, leave us a 5-star review if you haven't already done so. We love seeing the reviews. We love hearing from you guys. It makes our day. It's just so fun.
It does. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend. Helps us get the word out about Two Crime Newsies. And we didn't talk about it today.
No, we haven't.
We didn't talk about our coffee fund.
Fuel us.
If you have fueled our coffee fund, thank you so much.
Yes.
If you would like to fuel our coffee fund, we invite you to do so. You can do that at buymeacoffee.com/twocrimenewsies. You can also find it at twocrimenewsies.com. We have a button on the homepage for
and I'll link it in the show notes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I got you covered, friend.
Appreciate it.
All right, we will talk to you guys again next week. Bye.